Hey, good morning, Pepper. This is a quick demo video for you for your CCSabers Slayer. This saber came to me installed already. You had a factory install on it. I'm not sure which factory did it because I know Carl Chen over there doesn't typically do installs like that. But whatever factory made this for him, installed it for him as well. All right, so what you had me do is take that out and kind of redo it. What was going on with the other one? It was firing up fine, but it took an 18650 battery, which you wanted a 21700, so we fit that in there. What I noticed was the two crystal chambers were wired in line with the blade, so they just acted the way that the blade did. I changed that up. So now each crystal is wired individually and they do different things. You had specifically asked for the blue LED lights underneath these switches to react to sound. So how they were programmed before is if the saber was on, the switches would be on, even if the blade was off. All right, so I went ahead and swapped that out. They now react to sound. And what else did we do? One more thing. In the grill section, I put a 15 pixel accent strip under here, and I wired that separately as well. All right, so as far as blade styles go, we got the main blade, that's 1. Each of the crystals, that's 2 and 3. We've got the grill section, that's 4, and then this one doesn't count because I did some things to make it wired for sound. So 4 blade styles. The old board that you sent, also I upgraded the board because you had a V2 and you wanted a V3, so I got the V3 in there. Your old Proffie had so many sound fonts on it. I don't typically go through and do like a 50 font config. So what I did was I picked one sound font, which was the Kylo Ren TLJ. I made a config for that. I put it on here. I put a copy of the config file that I made on the SD card, so you can go ahead and you can go in there and you can make changes. And I made it very easy to read. So even though there's 4 blade styles, the first one will say, it'll have I forget the name of the brackets, but I have 2 brackets. It'll say blade, and then underneath that, the code right there is for blade, and then one will say upper chamber, one will say lower crystal, one will say grill section, and that's it. All right, so very easy for you to copy and paste and change styles. So to get to your chassis, you want to unscrew this handle. This saber has seen some action. You could just tell that it's been used, right? So it came to me without the greebly. You said, I think that you said you had that at home, so we left that alone. The handle was very loose, so what I did was I took it completely apart. I also, if you can tell, I don't know, you can see that that piece in there is silver now. It's not anodized black. In order to fit the 21700 battery in there, I did have to lengthen the chassis a bit longer than normal. And let me show you why here, right? So this is an 18650 battery. This is a 21700 battery. So if I held them the same height at the bottom, you can see how much bigger the 21700 is. Not to mention the diameter change, that doesn't matter, but for length of chassis, I had to increase it that much. All right. So in order to get the pommel to not rock up against the speaker and have rattling, I took this engine completely apart. I put it on my lathe and I machined down the thickness so that it would stay off the speaker. All right, not anything that you can tell from the outside, but that is something that I had to do. So here's your chassis rather. So you've got that removable 21700. So spring side over here for the negative side of your battery. We'll just go ahead and put that in now. So this is a Keep Power 21700. I'll go ahead and I'll send it with your saber. It just clips in there nice and tough and it will stay in there. All right, so that's what you've got there. A fully enclosed 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker. So that's what you got there. All right, I did a red carbon fiber chassis, so I gave you a red Proffie V3. You got a kill switch right in front of the board, which is something that you had before, but this is a different type of kill switch. This one is a lot smaller than the one that you had in your chassis and typical of what we use. All right, so, and then it just says Solo Sabers over here for me in Airbus right there. All right, we'll come over here and flip the switch.
You're still holding on! Let go!
As you can see, when you had your boot up, your switches were on. And then as soon as your boot up turned off, your switches turned off. Your front switch is power, your back is auxiliary. So when I hit auxiliary to go to another sound font, so while it's playing the boot up, you'll notice that in your switches again.
I know what I have to do.
All right, so that reacts to sound. We've got your grill section. I've got this kind of like in a kit scanner because I thought it looked pretty cool. If you look closely at your crystals, they are doing something different. They're both red because I wanted them to match the blade. But one is pulsing and one has a heartbeat. Until we turn this on. Another thing that I did is I went through and I upgraded your PCB. So you had what was like a V2 or V3 Carl Chen in there. This is a V4. So same company, better PCB. All right, so you got a lot more LEDs on there. They're a lot lower profile, harder to break. In fact, I have not had any issues with these PCBs at all, and I've installed hundreds of them. All right, but again, we'll hit power. So you'll notice when the Saber's on and there's sound, your switches stay on. All right. Everything reacts to auxiliary being pressed. And you've got twist off. Let's go ahead and throw a blade in this guy. So still 1-inch diameter blade. Let me lock it down. My Allen keys are a little worn. There we go. All right. So on this particular one for Kylo, you got a red unstable blade. You'll notice your top and bottom crystals are being different. Your grill's faster. And you got twist off, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll break this back down. Take this blade out of here. Oops, not enough turns. All right. These are on a timer though, so if you don't turn on the Saber right away, or if you leave it sitting around, these LEDs will time out so they don't kill your battery. All right, but when you want to turn it off, we'll just come over here. We'll turn the Saber on real quick. And we'll flip it off with the kill switch. And it kills power. All right, so that is basically your upgrade to your CCSabers Slayer. You were asking me about the red wire. It is still in your box. You can just slide it through these clips anytime you like. I tend to leave them off so people can kind of just put them where they like. But if you do run them through this bottom piece, when you have the wire here on the bottom piece, you'll just put it into one of the holes in the pommel, which is impossible to see right here, but you'll see it in person. Run it through these clips, put the top piece in that hole right there, and then what I would suggest doing is on this clip right here, I would cut the wire and put one end each in this clip. So when you want to take the handle off, you just pop it out from right here and you can unscrew your handle while the upper wire stays in place. All right, but that is your Slayer. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to try my best to get this out in the mail today. Thanks, Pepper.